Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acton Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience, episode 119. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about a broken twill threading. Yep, it's going to be a good one. So I just wanted to kind of start at the top for us and make sure you understood what we're looking at. So this is the very front of the loom. I haven't even started weaving my project yet. And these are my warp yarns. This is the beater bar. Here are my shafts right behind it, right? You're with me? So whenever you hear someone talking about a threading, they're referring to how the warp yarns go through the shafts. What sequence are you using, right? Because each warp yarn here is connected to one of these shafts. That's the whole idea. So when someone says a threading, that's what they mean. What kind of sequence are you using to put your warp yarns into your shafts? Now, we've talked about a couple different kinds of threading so far. We've talked about a straight draw, which is very common. We've also talked about a point twill, which is an excellent one that you'll use for many other twills. But today, specifically, we're going to talk about a broken twill. So I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to take you up for like a bird's eye perspective. We're going to talk about what that looks like to thread your project using a broken twill threading. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we are at your bird's eye view. I am still leaning over the front of the loom. Here is my beater bar. See my shafts right there? 1, 2, 3, 4. See those guys? That's the view that I want to show you because I tend to think of threading in a really visual way, and I wanted to share that with you in case that helps you as well. So let's start with something really basic, is a straight draw, right? This is one that we all start with. It's perfect for plain weave and a million other patterns. So let's talk about this. As we are threading our project in a straight draw sequence, let's say that we're starting right here, and this yarn, this one right here, is going to go through shaft number 1. That's where it's connected to. See my little dot? Oh, I'll move it over just a little bit so you can see it right there. Right. And then we know that the one that's right next to it is going to go through shaft number 2. Okay. So looks like that. Okay. You with me? So then the one that's next to that, still moving the same direction, is going to be shaft number 3, just like that. And you guessed it. If we keep going this way, it's going to be shaft number 4. See our pretty diagonal? Isn't that great? And in true straight draw fashion, we would then go to the next one and we would just repeat the whole thing over again. But do you see this cool kind of diagonal? That's one of the easy ways to kind of keep track of where you are as you are threading your heddles, as you're moving your warp yarns through the shafts here, is to kind of think of what does that visual look like depending on what threading you want for your project. So let's mix it up. Let's say that we are going to do a point twill threading. So point twill threading starts out just like a straight draw, right? We've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead of having the next one start at 1 again, we're going to go to 3. We're going to make like a point. So this comes back here, just like that. Oh, props. See, they say never work with props because they're always going to do their own thing. There we go. Oh, see, it's anarchy now, folks. Okay, here, I'm going to use a different color. We'll see if that'll work. There we go. We'll say that's okay. There we go. So for a point twill, what we want to do is we want to make a point. Go figure. Look at that. So as we are threading our heddles and the shafts, this is the sequence we want to use. We want to start with the yarn here that's going to go through shaft number 1. The one next to it's going to go shaft number 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go back the other way, right? Brilliant. We love this. So imagine now that we want to do a broken twill. Now, there's a reason it's called a broken twill. See how point twill, like everything's connected, right? You're always working with a neighbor. For a broken twill, that's not the case. Here's how it's different. So let's say, we'll take up my little props here. Let's say you're starting out just like a straight draw, which we love. We love the straight draw. And whenever we're done going one direction, like this, in this case, we're all leaning to the left. After we're done leaning to the left, we want to actually lean the other direction to the right. But to do that, we have to skip one. We have to have a break in the angles. So we are gonna go, instead of to 3 or to 1, we're gonna go to 2. Oh, the drama. Okay, so then we want everything to go lean the other direction. So we're gonna go to 1, then we're gonna go up here to 4. Can you still see that? Yep, you can, okay. 3, 2, I need one more. Where's another green? Here we go. 1. Okay, this is what, oh, you can't even see that. There we go. This is what a broken twill looks like. It's gonna lean one direction, and then when you're ready to lean the other direction, you just skip one. You skip that one right there next to it. It's a little hard to see there, isn't it? Yes. But what's so nice about thinking about your threadings like this is that when you read a pattern draft, this is the visual they're going to give you. So if you can look at that little kind of those rows of blocks, right, that are filled in, that's what this is going to look like. From the bird's eye view, you're going to be able to see what the sequencing looks like for your threading. So when you do a broken twill, imagine you're doing a point twill, but just put a little break in between every time when you have to change directions. That's going to give you that nice kind of change in the pattern that looks like a almost like someone drew a line between some columns, right? This is particularly helpful when you're doing something like Herringbone, which is the pattern for the April 23 weave along. So this becomes kind of important for us to understand a broken twill. So I hope that my little visuals kind of helped you as you're kind of planning how to move your warp yarns through the shafts of your loom, because none of it's hard. It's just a matter of understanding where each one is going to go. You can do it. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week, and thread your loom. Happy weaving.